Cushion foundations. There are literally hundreds of them on the market right now, but which one is right for you? Before we begin, I'm going to give you guys a quick little menu here so that you have the option of skipping to your category that your skin fits to the most. If not, let's begin and you can watch the entire video with me. Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Jen, and guess what video this is? Yes, you read it right. It's finally here. After almost 2 years of working on this for you guys. I have been spending a lot of time, a lot of my own resources and money because I felt like there is not a sort of like comprehensive guide out there for cushion foundations, particularly considering that there are so many new ones recently. I mean, cushion foundations have always been very popular, but even the past few months, there are so many new Western brands that are jumping on the bandwagon and making their own cushions. Some have even more than like 3 different versions and formulas already. So not just the Korean beauty market, but now the whole world, which makes it even harder to try and find and discern the right one for you. The one that might work for your best friend might not necessarily be the best suited to your own skin type. So in this video, guys, I have personally done the work for you. I have over 100 cushion foundations. I don't own every one on the planet, obviously. I had to stop and pull the plug and finally just film this. And I'm going to be breaking it down into the different categories and my personal recommendations for different skin types and skin issues. Also, I'm going to go over coverage, of course, all of those good details, and also price tags and whether I think it's worth it. There's only so much that I can show in one video as well. So yes, I have been working on this for you guys for a very long time now, but it's basically a table full of the really detailed information, like how many shades there are, things like that, that I can't really convey in one video for a ton of cushions. Pretty much all the cushions that I have. Yes, I'm going to be sharing this table for free with you guys, but on the condition that you guys only go and click on the link after you watch this video. Thank you so much for your patience on this one. I really hope that it's useful for you guys. One more thing, musers, I will not be swatching these cushions in this video. Probably if I do, it will just be on the back of my hand or something. And 2, I want to explain that I didn't limit myself to a certain number of cushions per category, like best 5 in each category, because I didn't want to actually limit the actual good products for the sake of making this video cleaner. So yes, without further ado, guys, let us begin with this very long awaited cushion foundations review and guide video. Please give this video a like for effort before we begin, and let us start. Let's go! So the first category is for dry skin, and for dry skin I do have quite a few recommendations. Not all, but many Korean cushion foundations do have a dewier finish. This dry skin will be a little bit longer than the other categories. The first cushion that I want to recommend is the Apu Oat Cushion, Oat Cushion. This one has SPF of 50+, PA+++. It's roughly about $15 to $20 US with 1 refill. And this one is really good for the coverage and the finish. It's not the most natural cushion, but if you are looking for a little bit higher coverage, medium to full, and it is buildable, as well as a dewy finish, it has a very nice light and blendable texture, and it leaves your skin looking beautifully glowy, glossy, brightened, smooth, and even as well. It's also very moisturizing. It does have a little bit of transfer, but it is minimal once it's set. And the good thing is that it has refills that are compatible with so many different cushion cases, including other Hera cushions, Primera, Face Shop's Holhasu, and Iope Air cushions. They're all packaging. So this is definitely something I would recommend if you're on a budget and you're looking for coverage as well as a beautiful dewy finish. The second top cushion for dry skin is from Clio. You guys would have seen it in a lot of my videos. It's the Kill Cover Liquid Fanwear Ampoule Cushion. Now there's one that's higher coverage called the Conceal Cushion, which is in another category. This one is the one that I recommend for dry skin because it is very dewy and it's got really full coverage. So if you're looking for extreme coverage, if you've got a lot of pigmentation, spots, you want to be able to cover your dark circles all in one go, and you are also okay with a sort of thicker formula which is dewy and glossy, which is more of like the Korean type of mulgwang look. This is my top pick. It is rich and it is slightly thick and you can feel it on your skin, so it's not the most natural. This is something that I would recommend for maybe special occasions if you're going through a rough patch in your skin and you really have a lot to cover and you want to still look very glowy and very luminous. I would also recommend this for if you're doing broadcasting or if you film, because it comes out really nicely in photos. Just keep a light hand and it'll give you the most beautiful porcelain smooth finish. Clio's cushions packagings are actually rather big, so that's one thing to take note. So for those people who want full coverage, dewy finish, doesn't mind a little bit of a thick feeling, but it doesn't cake, this is the one that I recommend. Alright, next is something that I actually only have a little sample version of. It's the Dior Snow Bloom Perfect Moist Cushion. Now, I have amply reviewed this enough without having the actual case, but I thought that I would just only need the formula to review for you guys. I have a lot of friends who use this cushion as well, so I was able to get their feedback. So for this one, I totally recommend it for if you love a natural look. It has a semi-translucent sort of look to it and is not too thick. It does give you that glow, it's dewy, it's brightened, and it is luminous without the overly dewy finish. This is really expensive at US $70 with one refill, which is also good on the other hand because many Western high-end brands don't even come with a refill and it's usually that same price. But it still gives you that semi-Korean look in terms of that brightened effect, but at a price tag. Next is the Espoir Pro Tailor Essence Cushion. I was so surprised with this cushion. I really do like it. Espoir is like a mid-end brand in Korea. It is roadshow, but it is a little bit more expensive. It has SPF 50 plus, PA triple plus, and it comes at about roughly $38 US with one refill. They have 8 shades, which is amazing. It has a very unique case in that it is square. Even the puff itself is square as well. Thus, the refills will not fit with any other brands, so keep that in mind. Gives you a beautiful dewy finish and it's a very light cream consistency, which is very blendable, feels very moist and comfortable on the skin without drying it out. Gives a really beautiful my skin but better glowy dewy porcelain finish. The shade runs quite light neutrally, so it's not too yellow or orangey or pinky. The transfer is minimal once it's set, but one thing to note is that it does have a rather strong floral fragrance to it. It's like a floral green tea fragrance. If you don't mind fragrance and you want some medium coverage with that glowy Korean look, this is the one that I recommend. Now, this is really funny because I thought that it would actually be like the double wear foundations, as in really high coverage and more on the matte side. But yeah, surprisingly, this cushion is actually sheer to medium coverage. Case is really beautiful, it's very light, but this also comes at a high price tag at roughly about US $68 with no refill. Usually about 14 to 15 grams each, and this one has 12 grams of product. So that's a high price tag, guys. It has a semi-dewy satin finish. It's very glowy and luminous and it looks very transparent on the skin. It feels really lightweight and it's natural and moist. Even for those in humid climates, this actually holds up very well and it does do rather well with controlling oil too. So if you're looking for a natural finish cushion foundation at a high price tag that can hold up well in humidity as well, this is the one that I recommend. Okay, next we have the Hamish Perfect Artless Cushion Foundation. This is a mid-end brand. It's actually sold in department stores in Korea, but has a really, really nice price point. It's roughly about US $30 with one refill, and it contains 13 grams of product. It has SPF of 50 plus, PA triple plus, so high SPF. The only downside is that it only has 2 shades, so it's 21 and 23, so a little bit more lighter toned Asian skin tones, I'd say. Now, this one has beautiful medium coverage. It's semi-dewy, it's very easily blended. It feels very refreshing as you apply it, and it feels very hydrating and soothing, but it also kind of feels a little bit like a gel moisturizing product, so you do feel the product on your skin at first. It has a little bit of transfer, but it is minimal. This has regular to long longevity. You do have to touch up every like 5 to 6 hours, but it never looks cakey. It does not dry out on the skin. It doesn't oxidize too much, and the scent is very light and it's refreshing. The case, of course, I forgot to mention, is super pretty with rose gold finishings and white pearl at the top. And it also has refills that is compatible with a lot of other cushions. So this one I do recommend for those who are wanting a little bit of a soothing, really moisturizing gel-like finish with medium coverage, and who are looking for something a little bit more on the affordable side but not too cheap. I have two cushions from Hera to recommend for you guys for dry skin. First one is the Hera UV Mist Cushion Cover Foundation and the Hera UV Mist Cushion Ultra Moisture. So Hera is a brand from Amaro Pacific, who is the one that first came out with these cushions, who have the patents for them. So trust them to come out with such great cushions. These are the newly revised one. I think they revised it last year. I actually recommend both of them for dry skin. This one gives you coverage with moisture but not overly moist, whereas this one is coverage with moisture, so for those who have really dry skin. Both of them are beautiful. They give you a poreless, smooth finish. Because it is Hera, it is high-end, so you do have to pay quite a lot for it compared to Road Shop, but compared to Western high-end brands, the price point is just completely different. So roughly US $50 with one refill, and they come with 15 grams each. And both of them give you a beautiful glowy, poreless, you know, all of that Korean cushion style without being cakey, without drying out. When you're applying them both, they both feel very moisturizing and soothing. You can retouch up without it looking messy at all. It's just very beautiful and it gives you a luminous glow to the skin. And here's a little addition from me. I actually feel like this gives a really similar finish to the Estee Lauder Double Wear Cushion Foundation, but I prefer this one over Estee Lauder's. One, the price tag, and two, it does not dry out over the course of the day, whereas Estee Lauder, you do feel like it does tend to dry out and settle a bit into the lines. The skin just feels a little bit more protected, especially when it's like a really dry environment or if your skin is dry. Now we cannot go without some Missha cushions. Missha actually does really good cushions. They are a Road Shop brand that's really affordable. The Magic Cushion Moisture version, this has SPF 50+, PA++, and this one is US $20 with 2 refills. With 15 grams of product, that's 45 grams that you get for US $20, which is super budget. It has a dewy finish. It does contain witch hazel extract to soothe and calm the skin down. So I do recommend this for if you are on a budget and you're looking for a dewy finish foundation that's moisturizing and gives you great coverage. Of course, on the other hand, you would have to compromise a little bit on the longevity or potentially looking a little bit cakey. But if you're okay with that, this is the way to go. One thing to note though is that it does have a strong scent to it. So if you're sensitive to fragrance, maybe avoid this product. The next cushion is from this new brand called Nakeup Face. Nakeup Face, makeup with an N. I'm not sure how much product it contains because it doesn't actually say, but the price point is roughly about US $25. And it comes in 3 different shades, but this is actually one of my favorite cushion foundations. It just has a really nice, pearly, glowy, dewy finish with a blendable light cream consistency, and it feels really nice and light on the skin. It doesn't feel too thick, but at the same time it feels very silky and moisturized. This evens out and fills the pores, so if you have any like big pore areas or bumpiness, it completely smooths it out and it does not look cakey. It does have a little bit of transfer, but it's minimal once it's set. It's not too much. It is rather on the larger sides, but although it is kind of larger, it's not as heavy as it looks. It's actually quite light. So that's something to keep in mind. This is one of my personal favorites. It has coverage, moisture, beautiful finish with the sort of mid-range budget. Next is the Apu Air Fit cushion in the Bosong version. This is the aqua blue version. Apu's cushions are round and very light and portable, and I really like their packaging, and it's actually really pretty. Apu is super cheap at roughly about $15 US, and it contains SPF 50+, PA++. So this has medium buildable coverage. It goes on semi-dewy and then it sets to satin, but it still feels very moisturizing and never dries out the skin. It's creamy and very easily blended, and it leaves the skin looking smooth and luminous and poreless for a really budget price. It only comes in 3 different shades though, and the shades do sort of tend to lean a little bit more orangey. The transfer is minimal once it's set, and I love this puff. It's really like flexible and very soft. It's not just like stuck in one place and sturdy. This product claims to be sebum controlling and there's no added oils, so it's actually rather good for humid weather. Although it doesn't feel completely lightweight, you can sort of feel a little bit of product on your skin. I think I would recommend this over Missha's, and I actually do recommend this for both dry and normal combination skin. And my final recommendation for dry skin is another high-end product, Lancome's Blanc Expert. I did not like this cushion at first, but I grew to like it when I started to appreciate that really dewy sort of finish. So this one, of course, is a high price point at US $40 for a single refill, and you have to purchase the case separately at about $15. The good thing about Lancome is that they do come out with a lot of different shade colors. The website say there's 11, but if you go in store, it might be a little bit less than that. It has very low SPF though. It's SPF 23 PA++. It's got medium coverage. It's a very dewy finish. The consistency is super light. It's super watery and very easily blended. Leaves the skin looking glowy and brightened whilst it feels very moisturized and soft. But yes, it does have a very obviously glowy finish, and it does actually have quite short longevity too, and it does transfer. So that's just a couple of things to keep in mind. But if you are looking for a very natural and gentle cushion foundation and you don't mind the price tag, a lot of people do seem to enjoy this Lancome version, and I did want to throw that in there. Interestingly, the refills are compatible with YSL's Fusion Ink Cushion Foundation as well as the SEM, which is Korean. It is time to move on to normal combination skin. My top products include the Apu Airfit Boson Cushion, which I've just gone into just before for the dry skin version. So if you just want to check a couple of seconds back, if you've skipped this to get here, I have gone into the details about that one there. YSL's Fusion Ink Cushion Foundation. This is my hands down favorite cushion foundation from high-end versions. It's just got this beautiful texture, which is very light, easily blended, feels very natural, and it never cakes up. It doesn't dry out, it's not too oily or dewy, it's not sticky at all, and it just leaves the skin looking very fresh and nice. It does have sheer to medium coverage, but it is slightly buildable. You would have to go in with a concealer if you want a little bit more coverage. With the beautiful packaging and case, the only downsides to this product would be its price and accessibility. One, it's always sold out in Asia. I think it is Asia exclusive. And two, it's $75 with no refill. I mean, you don't get a refill with it, and it's only 14 grams of product with a very low SPF rate as well. So SPF 23 PA++. So YSL Fusion Ink is my first recommendation for those who are not looking for a high coverage one. Satin velvety finish. And my next top pick is another high-end cushion foundation. It's the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation Cushion Compact, which, as you can see, first of all, the casing is actually really big. It's the same size as the Clio ones, but Clio's is a lot heavier. It's about US $50 with no refill. You do have to purchase it separately, and it only comes with 13 grams of product. So that is one thing. I did actually use this up very, very quickly. It has 9 different shades. It has a really sheer coverage, but it actually feels like skincare. Seriously feels like a serum kind of foundation. So natural, it's so beautiful. It feels super lightweight on the skin as well, so it's very comfortable. It feels very moisturized and super gentle. Usually cushions do give you like a luminous glow and all that kind of thing, but this just kind of sits a little bit more like a dewier foundation, which I think is quite nice. The scent is light and herby, but one thing to note is the cushion foundation area. I actually thought that you can push this entire thing out like normal refills, but I broke it. So the lid actually is not something you can push out. It's just this little container area that you push out separately. Do not push out the lid as well, because you'll break it. So I feel like this cushion is very, very similar to the Moonshot Microfit cushion, the Estee Lauder Double Wear cushion, as well as the Lancome Blanc Expert in terms of being very light, and the finish looks very similar, but the texture is a little bit different. So the next two cushions I also already recommended for dry skin, so I'm not going to go again into it, but if you do want to go check it out, just skip behind a couple of minutes back. It is the Hera UV Mist Cushion Ultra Moisture version and the Espoir Pro Tailor Essence Cushion. This one is high coverage, but it gives you a dewy finish. So I know some normal combination skin people will still want to have a dewy finish, so I wanted to add this version in. It is still one of my favorite mid-tier priced cushion foundations that has really good coverage with that porcelain finish. Another one that I recommend for a normal combination is the Moonshot Microfit Cushion. There are 3 shades, the 101, 201 and 301. This has a beautiful satin finish, and it is sheer to medium, slightly buildable. So it's got slightly higher coverage than the Bobbi Brown and the Lancome Blanc Expert, but it gives you a beautiful Korean style glowy luminous look without the overly moist dewy finish. It's really light, it's really easily blended, and if I were to compare it with anything, I would actually say that it is most similar to the YSL Fusion Ink Cushion Foundation. It gives you that similar finish as the YSL one at a portion of the price, which is great. How much was this? This is is $38 with one extra refill. So I would actually say that this is one of Korea's best cushion foundations, and I think a lot of people think that as well. There's a reason. It feels fresh. It's not like thick and cakey at all, but it just gives you a beautiful glow. It is sheer to medium, so I wish they would come out with like a medium to full coverage version in this finish, but it probably is not possible. The more full coverage you want to go, consistency will probably have to be compromised a little bit. So yes, if you've got nice skin already, you only want to do a little bit of coverage and you want to try a Korean version, I do recommend the Moonshot Microfit Cushion. Now, if you're looking for a budget and full coverage cushion foundation for normal combination skin, you know what's coming. I have mentioned this over and over again. It is one of my favorites. It's the Clear Kill Cover Conceal Cushion. This is absolute full flawless coverage, and it does give you a very porcelain smooth effect, but it is actually quite sensitive to weather and your skin condition, so you do have to be picky with it. Use a very light hand. Maybe just use it for portions of the face and then use a more natural cushion for the rest of the face. Keep that in mind. You do have to sort of like keep checking your face if you've got your whole face covered with this. This one is $38 with one refill. It's got SPF 45 PA++ and comes in 3 different shades, a semi-dewy finish, and it's a very thick and creamy formula, but it gives absolute coverage. That's richly hydrating, but it is slightly on the heavy side. And speaking of heavy, the case is rather big and slightly heavy too. Not too heavy, but it's slightly heavy. It does transfer, and the longevity, as I said, it kind of ranges depending on where you live and your weather. I personally prefer using this in Korean winter times when it's a little bit dry and cold. So yes, I recommend this version if you need high coverage at a budget price with the porcelain dewy finish, but you're okay with slightly being able to feel your foundation on the skin, and you're okay with sort of touching up every few hours. Next is Ayope, which is another Amore Pacific brand, and this is their new and improved cases. Roughly about US $40 with an extra refill. Contains 15 grams, so 30 grams at $42. The packaging is really light, by the way. It's really nice and portable. But the one that I recommend today is the Natural Glow version. This one has a very interesting little area here, which is the diamond sponge, and this is meant to spread the product onto your puff a lot more evenly, and you're meant to push it in like this and then twist it around first before you apply. Really recommend this for if you want medium buildable coverage, not too heavy, not too thick. It's just kind of really perfectly in the middle. Doesn't have too much transfer, whilst it does like brighten the skin tone as well. It comes in 5 different shades and it caters for cool tones, warm tones and neutrals. And my final top pick for normal combination skin is the Lancome Blanc Expert in the high coverage version. I know this is a high-end one as well. It is US $40 for a single refill, and you have to buy the case separately, which is about $15. And there's only 13 grams of product, which is really, really not much. So, but anyway, this is high-end. So those who are in the high-end market, here we go. SPF 50+ PA++, and it's got a natural and luminous satin finish. This one has medium buildable coverage, which is really good. And the consistency is really watery, it's really light, and it's very easily blended. Feels really nice on the skin. It's not like a layer on top of the skin. Got minimal or no transfer really. And the reason why I actually chose this is because the ingredients list is actually quite impressive. It's got Centella asiatica to correct color imperfections, pine extract to erase dark spots over time, and also anti-pollution, anti-inflammation, and oil and water resistant ingredients. The interesting thing is though that the smell is very alcoholic. It smells like there's alcohol, and the casing is actually a little bit on the heavy side too. So all of the cushions that I've mentioned so far are made in Korea. I do notice that the recommendations that I've given for normal combination skin sort of have a lot more high-end products than low-end, whereas for dry skin there were a lot more low-end products, and I think it is because the budget products are a lot more catered for dewiness, and perhaps it costs a bit less to make those kind of formulas. So let's move on to oily skin types. My first cushion recommendation for oily skin types is the Hera Black cushion. So this is the Hera Black cushion. It does look kind of similar to YSL in terms of the coloring. It's a light gold with black and a little bit of shimmers happening at the top. But of course the YSL pull it off a lot better, I reckon. So this one has SPF 34 PA++. It comes with 15 grams of product and the pricing is at about $55 US with one extra refill, which is a lot better than the YSL one, which is $75 with no refill, and it's like 13 grams. And surprisingly, they have come out with 6 different shade colors. So there's like 13 all the way up to 25. It is medium coverage with a semi-matte formula. It's not completely matte. Although it is semi-matte, it still looks luminous and it doesn't look flat at all. It's not like a foundation. It really is like a cushion foundation. It gives your skin a bit of life without just completely evening everything out. It's light and natural and it's not sticky. Formula is transfer proof once you let it set, and it's got regular to long longevity. So this hair cushion, it absolutely gets a thumbs up from me. It's actually more suitable for all different skin types. If you're looking for a semi-matte formula that has medium coverage, it doesn't get cakey, this is the way to go. Hera Black cushion. The next cushion that I recommend is the Chikai Chiko matte cushion. Unfortunately, I've lost it somewhere in this house and I have not been able to find it. So I'm sorry that I can't show you guys the packaging, but this is also a beautiful matte cushion. In my books anyway, I feel like it is as good as the Hera Black cushion, but it's a way cheaper version. It has really good coverage as well, and it's matte and it's pretty. It doesn't leave your skin looking flat, and it does give you a bit of a glow as well. I think I actually prefer the Chikai Chiko one because it just feels a little bit more brightening on the skin. So yes, I'm sorry that I don't have the cushion to show you guys, but I did need to include that for oily skin types. So next is the Hera UV Long Stay Matte version. It's got medium to full coverage and it's got a matte finish. The updated version actually has packaging that looks similar to this. The edges are a little bit different. This is the older packaging. It gives you a really natural and smooth and evened out and matte look. It doesn't look thick at all and it doesn't transfer. So I do recommend that as well. I think it's all personal preference for which one you would choose out of these. I'm just giving you guys options from the top for this category. Next is the Laneige BB Cushion Pore Control version. So Laneige again is Amore Pacific, same with Hera. So they're the ones that patented the BB cushions themselves. Laneige is beautiful. The packaging is very unique. Each of their cushions, depending on what theme it is, has a different color outline here. So the Pore Control version has an aqua outline. Similar thing to Ayope in terms of having that sort of like honeycomb-like diamond structure in the sponge, so that squeezes out the product a little bit more evenly. The great thing with Laneige is that they come out with so many different shades. They've got 10 shades ranging from 13 all the way up to 37. The formula is really nice. If you are sensitive to fragrance, do keep in mind that Laneige's cushions do come with a little bit of fragrance. The Pore Control version actually helps to control the oil and keep it at bay for those summer months. But for all of these cushions, I would actually recommend you to set your foundation with a tiny bit of translucent powder anyway, especially on the areas that you do oil up a little bit more. So this next one I don't have a full review for, but I did want to quickly throw it in. It's the Etude House Real Powder Cushion SPF 50+, PA++, really portable sort of packaging. It goes on wet, but it dries to powder. And it has medium coverage. It has a very like vanilla-y sort of smell to it. Although because it does dry to powder, it doesn't give you a very brightened effect at all. It is quite 2D, but if you really want to have a cushion that's actually really matte, this is the one that you should check out. And plus Etude House is super affordable. I do think that I do have to mention this product, even though it's not an absolute favorite and absolute recommendation, because I think a lot of you guys would be interested anyway. So it is the Dior Skin Forever Perfect Cushion. I think this one, they made it at the same place as Amore Pacific because they have the exact same refill shape, so they are interchangeable. So Dior Skin Forever is obviously very pricey. It comes with SPF 35 PA++ and 13 grams. Come in 6 different shades and it is sheer to semi-buildable and it's semi-matte. Thing about this product, it goes on super nice and it looks very natural, it looks smoothened, it's non-oily. So at first it felt just like a foundation, but unfortunately the thing is for me, it did dry out the dry patches. So immediately where my smile lines are and around the sides of my nose, less than half an hour later it started to patch up and you could see the dry areas. So yes, this cushion does tend to accentuate dry areas throughout the day, but if you're oily skinned it might be a good thing, I guess. And one more thing, it does give you a little bit of a grey cast. But just keep that in mind guys, because you might like it. next category is mature skin. Now for mature skin, unfortunately, the recommendations that I have are all high-end, but I'm assuming that those who are a little bit more mature might actually want to invest in one good product anyway, and I feel like maybe the lower-end brands actually don't cater for mature skin, so they don't actually create anything that mature skin people would like. So I'm not sure if it's the chicken or the egg, but that's how it turned out of the 100 cushions that I have. So the ones that I do recommend, xoxo's Perfecting Cushion. This one has a dewy finish, it's got medium coverage, 6 different shades, about $60 a pop with 1 extra refill. xoxo is a really nice high-end brand that specializes in skincare. So actually, I feel like the cushions do feel a little bit like skincare. It does feel like you've got something on your skin, but it is really nicely moisturizing and dewy, and it contains apricot kernel oil to promote collagen and elasticity in the skin, as well as anti-wrinkle benefits. Personally for me, I don't really like xoxo's cushions because they run too pinky. I'm not sure about all the shades, but the 21s are always kind of pinky. One thing to note is that xoxo's cushions do oxidize a little bit, and I think the shades do run a little bit on the darker side, so keep that in mind. The refills are compatible with a lot of Amore Pacific's cushions. And the next 3 cushions I recommend for mature skin, I'll just show you in a pop, is the Hera Age Reverse Cushion Cover, the Laneige BB Cushion Anti-Aging version, and the Amore Pacific Anti-Aging Color Control Cushion. So all 3 of these have very good coverage at about medium, and they have a dewy finish. This one feels the most thick out of them all, but it has a firming feeling. This one also has a firming feeling as you keep patting. So all 3 of these are actually fantastic. They are aimed for mature skin, and whilst it provides coverage and SPF at the same time, it has skin benefits to add elasticity to the skin and moisturizes the skin. They have a beautiful luminous and glowy finish, which obviously adds a sort of youthful look. And again, one thing to keep in mind for those who are fragrance sensitive, these xoxo and Laneige cushions have a rather strong fragrance to it. And another thing to note is this is the actual Amore Pacific cushion. They're the first ones that came out with the cushion itself, so that's really interesting. I feel like this would be a really nice gift for parents. So yes, that's the top for the mature skin category. Acne-Prone or sensitive skin. The first one is the Etude House AC Cleanup Mild BB Cushion. So this is actually a BB cream in a cushion form, which is mostly skin benefits. It's really mild and it's really gentle. Obviously it is Etude House, so it is very affordable at roughly about $20, and it comes in 3 different shades. It's got SPF 50+, PA++, and it's got sheer to medium buildable coverage. It's got a semi-dewy finish that looks very, very natural. It's slightly luminous, but it does tend to oxidize within an hour and gets a little bit darker. The fragrance is very herbally and very refreshing, and it feels very light on the skin, but you can sort of feel it a little bit due to the moisturizing properties. I would recommend this more for those who have sensitive skin, but also kind of more on the dry side. So if you don't need a lot of coverage, but you need something that's really mild and gentle, just to give you sort of like a tinted moisturizer sort of feel, then I recommend this one. Next is the Troy Peel H+ cushion. This one contains SPF 50+, PA++. This brand is known to specialize in cushions that have huge skincare benefits in the ingredients, more than just makeup. So yeah, it's actually a really good cushion, not just for acne-prone sensitive, but all skin types, I would say. It's got medium coverage. The formula itself is very soothing, and it's semi-moist, so it feels moisturizing. It's got a very, very beautiful finish. It's just very luminous and glowy, but not too dewy and not too thick. So this one I recommend for those who've got acne-prone skin and you are worried about the ingredients irritating your skin. This brand puts a lot of emphasis in their skincare being the main thing in their cushions, so I did want to include this for those who want medium coverage, not too expensive, a little bit of a dewy finish and moisturizing properties to it. categories for my top cushion foundation recommendations, guys. If you got to this part and you've watched the whole thing, give yourself a huge pat on the back, and also to me because I've been sitting here talking for the past 2 hours. But yes, I do want to give you guys a couple of pointers before we end for BB cushions. Number one, you should always keep and store your cushions upside down instead of this way up, especially if it's like the sponge puff type of product holders. This way you'll have all the products ready at your fingertips as soon as you press the puff. Two, if you are completely new to cushion foundations, you can actually purchase these puffs separately from a lot of different places. I don't think that high-end brands would sell them, but most Korean brands do sell these puffs separately. So although you should actually wash them, sometimes it just gets too much and you do have to get a new one. And they do come very cheap. Sometimes you can buy them for like $2 for 3. These puffs also, everyone has different preferences for what they like. Some people like sturdy ones, some people like the soft absorbent ones, some people don't like the absorbent ones. Everyone has a different preference. So it's really something that you should trial and error with and then purchase the refills from the place you like. And last but not least, this was only my top recommendations. Although I have been studying cushions for a very long time, it is really only just one person, and I have a different environment that I live in. My house is quite dry. My skin is just my skin type. So of course you guys might have different experiences with these cushions, and I do not push them aside at all. If you have anything that you want to share, it'll actually benefit everyone to know. So leave it down in the comments below so that everyone can know that actually on my skin type or in my environment this sits like this. It'll be very helpful. And finally, of course, if you would like to access my comprehensive table of all of the information that I've put together, including other cushions that I did not mention in this video, I'll have the link for you downstairs. So that is it for this video. I really hope that it was useful for you guys. I'm sure by this time you're sick of my voice. Please let me know if you would like me to do anything else like this in the future. Please give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I thank you for spending time with me today. If you haven't already joined Muserfam, you can feel free to press that subscribe button, and also come follow me over on my social media at meejmuse on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, guys. Stay positive, stay beautiful inside and out, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye! 다음에 또 봐요.